The film begins with a brother and sister who are playing video games at night. The sister tells her brother to go to sleep, but he is afraid to go to his room because he thinks a scary monster is hiding there. So his sister goes and thoroughly searches his room and says, "I have checked every corner. There is no monster here." And just then, the room door closes by itself, and the boy standing outside hears the scary voice of a monster from inside. Then a real monster actually emerges from the room and starts chasing the boy. Then it is revealed that this was just a movie that a group of children were watching in a movie theater. Marshall and his friend were also there. Marshall's friend found the movie quite strange, so he got up from his seat and left. Marshall followed him out. As soon as they were outside, his friend started breathing heavily, so he used his inhaler. Then Marshall asked him, "Why are you so scared?" He also reminded him that next Sunday is Halloween, and if he continues to be scared like this, how will he celebrate and enjoy Halloween? Marshall and he go to meet a girl who owned a shop of old things. She tries to scare them while dressed in a werewolf costume. After meeting her, they were about to leave for home. Marshall explains to his friend that he needs to control his fear. In fact, he should face his fear. So he tells him to go and ring the doorbell of Kaboot's house. Now, the kids around here stay away from Kaboot because they think he is a serial killer. Just as his friend gathers the courage to ring the doorbell, Kaboot comes from behind and scares him, and he runs straight to Marshall. Then both of them go to their respective homes. That night, when Marshall was at home, his mom invites her friend over and they have dinner together. Marshall feels very bad about his coming, so in anger he leaves the dinner midway and goes to his room. After a while, Marshall's mom comes to his room to talk to him. She said, "I also want to move forward in my life." Saying this, she leaves. Then Marshall hears a faint sound on his walkie-talkie, which was none other than his friend's voice. He was saying, "Marshall, quickly look out the window." Because they lived in the same area, and from his friend's voice today, it seemed he was quite panicked. Marshall quickly goes to the window, and when he looks out, his eyes fall on Kaboot's house, where two men are taking a large box inside. Upon seeing the box, his friend gets very scared because he thinks it must be someone's dead body. But Marshall thinks a little and the next moment says, "Or it could be a statue or something valuable, right? Because Kaboot's actions are weird like that anyway." The next day, Marshall and his friend meet their classmate and start telling them about last night. The classmate tells them that she wants to become an investigator, a reporter when she grows up. "But I never get to see any interesting case." Now, these people go to the school museum, where weird and wonderful things are kept, because today was their museum trip. During this, they are shown a strange and unique thing, which was a mummy. Now, the classmate notices a strange thing. This mummy is kept in one coffin, while another coffin is also kept right next to it, but it was empty. This meant that there were not one, but two mummies there. The teacher explained that the other mummy was recently stolen by someone. Now, the story was that when the two mummies were alive, they loved each other very much. Their families couldn't separate them alive, so they mummified them and sealed them in coffins forever. But just yesterday, one mummy was stolen. And after the museum trip, Marshall immediately says that Kaboot must have stolen the mummy. Hearing this, the classmate gets serious. She asks, "Okay, tell me, that box you saw being brought to Kaboot's house, how long was it? How many people were needed to lift it?" As Marshall answers, the classmate's suspicion becomes confirmed that the mummy is in that box. Now they make a plan. Night falls. As soon as Kaboot leaves his house, the three kids armed with flashlights sneak into Kaboot's basement. But Marshall's friend was very scared, so he stands clinging near a ventilator. But then his eyes fall on a large box covered with a sheet. He slowly removes the sheet. Now, what was this thing? As soon as he sees it, the ground beneath his feet seems to slip away.
It was that very mummy's coffin, seeing which he is terrified. Then his eyes fall on a locket around the mummy's neck. He reaches out to look closely, but just then the mummy suddenly falls on him. He screams loudly and immediately runs to Marshall and the classmate. Meanwhile, a faint light coming from the ventilator falls on the mummy's locket, and the mummy slowly starts to move. Suddenly, it comes alive. After a while, when the three return to the basement, the mummy is not there. At first, it seems Marshall's friend lied, and as soon as they turn around, the mummy is standing in front of them. Seeing this, the three run straight to Kaboot's room. The mummy follows them. But instead of harming them, it simply picks up Marshall's friend's torch, which he had dropped there in panic, and places it back in his hand. Seeing this, the classmate understands that the mummy is not a danger to them. Just then, the sound of Kaboot's car is heard, so these three also leave the house. Now, when Kaboot goes to the basement, he only finds an empty coffin. The mummy was missing. Seeing this, he becomes worried. Outside, the three decide that they will hide the mummy in Marshall's house until any danger comes out, because the mummy was following them anyway. Now, Marshall brings the mummy to his house and gives it pizza and hot sauce to eat. At first, it finds it strange, but as it eats the hot sauce, it likes it quite a lot. Seeing this, Marshall remembers another friend of his, Harold, who always liked this sauce. So he names the mummy Harold D.
The next day, Marshall's mom has office work, so she leaves the house. Marshall also leaves for school and tells Harold, i.e. the mummy, to sit quietly at home. But instead of staying home, Harold goes outside. There, his eyes fall on a bus with a picture of an Egyptian princess on it. Seeing this, memories of his friend from 4,000 years ago are refreshed in his mind. So, he tries to touch the picture, but just then the bandages wrapped around his body get caught in the bus. As the bus starts moving, Harold is dragged along with it. On the other hand, after school, Marshall, his friend and the classmate, when they reach home, they don't find Harold, i.e. the mummy, anywhere. So, the three set out to search for him, while Harold, wandering here and there, ends up right outside the museum. Seeing the picture of the Egyptian princess on the museum door, he goes inside without thinking. When those three arrive there, they also suspect that Harold must have gone into the museum. So, they also enter the museum. There they find Harold and quietly bring him out of the museum. Now they couldn't keep him in the museum because the mummy was alive. So the three take him to their ally, the shop owner's store. The shop owner takes a picture of the mummy's locket. It was the locket that brought it to life, and she says that something is written on it, and after translating it, she will tell them what this thing is. On the other hand, Kaboot meets a woman who had helped him steal the mummy, but the mummy had disappeared. Although Kaboot tells her this, she says she knows nothing. I need money quickly, and asks to leave. Meanwhile, the shop owner translates the words written on the locket with the help of Google, etc., and understands. She tells those three that what is written on this locket is that moonlight can bring the mummy to life. But one thing, after coming to life, it must return to its coffin within 3 days or it will turn to dust. Now Harold had been alive for 2 days, meaning only 1 day was left. Immediately the people quickly go to Kaboot's house to check his basement, but the coffin is not there. It turns out Kaboot has sent it somewhere else. Just then, in the basement, Kaboot finds Marshall's friend's inhaler, which had fallen there the last time. His name was written on the inhaler, from which Kaboot realizes that the children stole the mummy. The next day, they were all sitting with the mummy and planning. Suddenly, Kaboot arrives there with his gang, and they start questioning about the mummy. But Marshall answers bravely, "That mummy is behind you." At first, Kaboot thinks it's a joke, but as he turns to look, Harold the mummy is really there. Now here the mummy picks up some of Kaboot's men and throws them far away, and these people again take the mummy and start running away from there. On the way they meet Marshall's mom's friend, who tells them that there is an ice cream factory on Route 12 where they will find the coffin. They think of taking the shop owner's help to go there, but she is busy in a festival, so everyone also goes to the festival. Kaboot also finds out that all the children have gone to the festival, so he also leaves to go there. There they find the shop owner, from whom they ask for help, and they were about to leave when Kaboot and his men arrive and block their path. One man snatches the locket from the mummy's neck, and as soon as the locket is removed from its body, the mummy becomes dead again as it was before. Then Kaboot takes that mummy and starts to leave, and these four also start chasing him. Now after arriving at the factory, Kabut shows the mummy to a man who had come to buy it. He sees the mummy, agrees and gives them money. But at the same place, Marshall and his friends had one plan, to send Harold back into its coffin, otherwise he would be gone forever. But Harold the mummy is afraid to go in. Then Marshall explains something to him and Harold also gathers courage and steps forward. But just then, Marshall is caught by Kabut's men. Marshall's friend tries to grab the locket while hanging on a rope, and then Marshall grabs the locket first and throws it towards Harold the mummy. As soon as the locket falls around Harold's neck, the mummy comes alive once again. As soon as it comes alive, well, what happened next? It starts teaching Kabut's men a lesson. It picks them up and throws them far away, beating them badly. After this, all of them tie them up with a rope and quickly run towards the museum. Now after arriving at the museum, Harold brings his friend to life and both of them see each other hug and take a breath of relief for the last time. After this, both of them go and lie down in their respective coffins to sleep forever. After this, the news shows that a mummy came to the museum on its own and lay down in the coffin, which was quite a surprising news. And this was about Harold. Also, the thieves who stole the mummy, i.e. Kabut and his accomplices, got caught. Marshall and his mom's friend also became good friends because Marshall also understood that he is a good person and will always take very good care of my mom. And these people decide to live like a happy family. With this happy ending, the story of this film ends here.